is the greatest for the entire world.
Example to the world. It is a story essentially of a people whose response to suffering has been to move beyond resentment and build a most extraordinary society. A vibrant democracy, a freedom-loving country with an independent and rights-affirming judiciary, an innovation world-leading startup nation. You've taken the collective memory of death and persecution to build an optimistic, forward-looking society. One that so values life, you will sometimes release 1,000 criminals and terrorists to save one of your own. In the democratic family of nations, Israel represents values which our government takes as articles of faith and principles to drive our own national life. And therefore, through fire and water, Canada will stand with you. Friends, you've been... Thank you, friends. I know I should quit right there. You've been very generous with your time and attention. Lorraine and I know the entire delegation, thank you for your tremendous hospitality. Once again, thank you. Merci. Thank you for having us, and may peace be upon Israel.
You've been watching history being made. Prime Minister Stephen Harper addressing Israel's parliament, the Knesset, the first Canadian leader ever to do so. The Prime Minister said that the Jewish people deserve their own homeland, deserve to live safely and peacefully in that homeland. Let me repeat that, the Prime Minister speaking, saying Canada supports Israel because it is right to do so. This is a very Canadian trait, to do something for no other reason than it is right, even when no immediate reward for or threat to ourselves is evident. On the issue of the Palestinians, the Prime Minister says that I believe we share with Israel a sincere hope that the Palestinian people and their leaders will choose a viable democratic Palestinian state committed to living peacefully alongside the Jewish state of Israel, and saying that Israel will not be the last country to welcome a Palestinian state as a new member of the UN. It will be the first. Sadly, Prime Minister says, we have yet to reach that point, but when that day comes, I can tell you that Israel may be the first to welcome a sovereign Palestinian state, but Canada will be right behind you. Also, when the Prime Minister was speaking about Israeli academics being shunned and Jewish students being harassed, and he was saying these words, most disgracefully of all, some openly call Israel an apartheid state. And he went on to talk about that, and he was heckled by some people that were in the Knesset, and at least one person walked out as the Prime Minister talked about a state based on freedom, democracy, and the rule of law that was founded so Jews can flourish as Jews and seek shelter from the shadow of the worst racist experiment in history that is condemned, and that condemnation is masked in the language of anti-racism, the Prime Minister saying it is nothing short of sickening. CBC News Middle East correspondent Sasha Petrusek joins me live from Jerusalem. So Sasha, tell us a little bit about Harper's speech and what struck you.
Well, it was the speech that if Benjamin Netanyahu could have put all that together and presented it, I'm not sure he could have gone further than Stephen Harper. It could have been written by the current administration here. It touched on all the points that this government has been pushing internationally at every opportunity. It condemned the relaxation of sanctions against Iran, something that Netanyahu has also been pushing. It talked about the fact that Canada would not be relaxing its own sanctions and would be in favor of increasing them if the agreements with Iran to cut back on its